JRTV is back with the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series season, and for the 7th race, we stay out on the West Coast in Avondale, Arizona at the Phoenix International Raceway for the Checker Auto Parts 500. This jewel in the desert, we're going to have to see which of these 42 drivers here today can claim victory on one of the toughest tracks for a driver on the Nextel Cup Series schedule. I'm Joe Rakowski, alongside me in the booth, Trey Bardo. Trey, great to have you back up here in the booth at a track where you haven't really raced all that much. It's one of the newer tracks of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. However, it has produced some action over the past few seasons. We saw last season a close finish between Chris Jericho and Lathan Strickland, with Jericho coming out on top. And now here this season, Trey, a little bit less downforce on the cars. NASCAR hopes that enables more passing, enables drivers to get more to the back bumper of other cars, so we might see more aggressive race here today.
Yeah, I mean, with this track being, newer, like you mentioned, Joe, we really have no idea what we're going to come into every time we come to this track, right? It could be something totally different. It could be a close one. It could be an absolute, domination by one guy or maybe two guys. But yeah, that's the beauty, though, of a new track and a track definitely built like this, that we never know what we're going to get.
Yeah, we've seen over the past 4 races here at Phoenix, all of them that have been broadcasted by JRTV. In 2000, kind of a close finish between Jericho and Riley Spurley Tube. 2001 ended under caution, but with fuel concerns. In 2002, Jordan Stout dominated the race, leading every lap. And last season, as mentioned, Jericho and Lathan Strickland pretty close down to the checker flag. But last season, this race started very similar to how this race is going to start here today. It started with Matheus Wells on pole, his teammate Chris Jericho in 3rd place. What happened? Well, Matheus Wells led the first run of the race. They came down pit road, and he overshot his pit box, was slower getting into it, had a slower stop overall. Jericho beat him off pit road. Wells never could recover. He ended up inside the top 5, but lost the win. Here this season, Trey, Matheus Wells on pole, Chris Jericho in 3rd place to start. Will Wells maybe dominate the first part? And do you think he finally knows where that number 1 pit stall is here?
You would hope he does. I mean, it's not the first time he's had it, like you said, but the big question, I think, when pit stops come is if he remembers where it is during that time, and if we don't have a repeat of what happened.
Hopefully Matheus Wells can make it in cleanly and have his race decided out on the racetrack and not with a mistake on pit road. And there's a lot of other drivers, though, other than the JGR guys that are here up towards the front that are ready to try and win this race. Luke Rainey, the 88, he and Matheus Wells have been at each other on the racetrack in a very clean and friendly manner, but they always find a way near each other. They always find a way to battle each other. Matheus has joked, after races that, that 88 found a way to pass me right at the end again, kind of going all the way back to the end of last season. Well, here they are in the front row. We'll see if those two contend for the win. How about outside of row number 2, Anthony Hernandez? DI as a whole has been down this season. Eli Bright has shown glimpses of performance, but hasn't been consistent. Hernandez hasn't been that consistent. Ryan Wilson has been very, very poor. He's down 34th in points. Well, Anthony Hernandez, could he get DI a very solid run in 4th place? Jordan Stout, the dominator here in 2002, inside the top 5. Matthew Burnett always runs well here. The MB2 cars, watch out for them. Tim Gary, Evan Hunter on the 4th row. Then, as we mentioned, Eli Bright, and then Zachary DeLello has been very consistent as of late in the Nextel Cup Series. He's down 3rd in the point standings, trying to gain on his teammate, who's the point leader, Jay Rando. Rando starts further back in 16th. We'll see how this all plays out. And you have guys at the back that aren't going to be too happy as well. Lathan Strickland, who finished runner-up in this race last season, had a very poor qualifying lap. Made a mistake on it. He was the slowest car here of the 50 cars. He does move up to 39th place to start due to some technical inspection failures, but Strickland has to come from the back after finishing runner-up in this race last season. Riley Spurley Tube set to start inside the top 15. He failed inspection for qualifying. He's back in 40th. Jacob Miller was set to have a good starting spot. He's back at 41st. And then Roberto Crown Jr. was set to start inside the top 10 in the number 43, but he failed inspection twice. So that's the 2nd straight week we've seen a driver fail inspection twice after qualifying. We saw last week for Ahmed Walid is a 15-point penalty. We're expecting probably the same from Roberto Crown Jr. But Trey, what is it lately with inspection here in the Nextel Cup Series? I mean, two weeks in a row, we've seen teams push the envelope so far that they failed inspection twice after qualifying. Is that just how much track position means and how important it means to start up towards the front of these fields?
Oh, 100%. I mean, like you mentioned, it was Stout 2 years ago who absolutely dominated this race, and I feel like there's just many tracks, that we go to that track position just means everything. You start up front, you have a good chance of finishing towards the front here. So these teams are going to push whatever envelope or any sort of like body or piece of metal or whatever it is, even if it's by the smallest of fractions, try to get some sort of advantage. But it just seems like NASCAR is really on their game here this season with finding anything wrong with these cars, because it is interesting to watch them go through inspection.
Yes, it is. We'll have to see how that all plays out. If those guys at the back can find a way to move their way through the field at a track where it's historically been very hard to make passes at over the course of its time on the schedule. We'll take a look at the track facts here for Phoenix, the racetrack located in Avondale, Arizona. Beautiful day for racing. Not like what we saw last weekend at Las Vegas, where it was, rainy on Sunday, then very cloudy on Monday. Very nice day, 77 degrees here in Phoenix with just a little bit of wind. This racetrack is 1 mile in length. That's 1.6 kilometers, 63 laps and 63 miles. The field window, they'll go just past the midway point, 36 to 41 laps. What we've seen the field window come into play in the past. We'll have to keep our eyes out. If a caution comes out the right time, could fuel mileage come into play just like it did in 2001. Only 11 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, and 9 degrees in turns 3 and 4. The straightaways are completely flat, and as we've mentioned, Chris Jericho, a dominator here at Phoenix. He's won 3 of the 4 Phoenix races he started. We'll have to see if he can try and get another one starting in 3rd place here today. And the 8 drivers that missed here today: Henry Guo in the 0, Skylar Taylor in the 09, John Barrymore in the 14, Max Davis the 21, Zachary Fitzwater Sr. in the 32, Nathan Stapleton in the 42, Joe Staubs in the 51, and Teagan Fox in the 59. I want to give a shout out to Colin Teague, making his first start of the season. He's attempted every race, he just hasn't been able to qualify on speed. He did here today. He's starting on the inside row, just behind Jerry Chen in 33rd. We'll have to see if Colin Teague can move his way through the field, try and get a solid finish for his first start of the season. He does have 2 11th place finishes here in 2000 and 2001. But let's go down trackside, fire the cars up for 63 laps around the Phoenix International Raceway.
Driver, start your engine!
And 42 cars file off pit road for a very quick pace lap here in Phoenix. Trey, let's go to your pick to win, starting in 5th place. Jordan Stout, I think we already know why you maybe picked him to win this race.
Yeah, what do we say? He led every lap in 2002, something along those lines, right? I think he's gonna repeat it here today, Joe. Not every lap, might take him a couple to get up front, but I think once the 6 is out there, he's gonna be long gone.
Well, you took a little hanging fruit, so I'm going to take a little hanging fruit. Right in front of Jordan Stout in 3rd place is Chris Jericho. We mentioned 3 wins in 4 races here at Phoenix. All of them have been top 10 finishes. He has a 75% win rate here at Phoenix. I think he's going to make it 80% here today with his 4th win in 5 races here. Jericho's going to get it done once again in the number 18 car. But he's going to have to pass his teammate Matt Wells to do it as they come across the new patch of pavement in turn 4. The pace car is in. Matt Wells, Luke Grant leads to the green flag, and the Checker Auto Parts 500 we're underway for the 7th race of the season. Three wide through the dogleg for the lead. Chris Jericho forces on Matt Wells and Luke Rennie in lap number 1. And Trey, that just shows how important track position is at a track like Phoenix.
So is Luke Rennie a little more upset about being put 3 wide on the first lap, or is Wells a little upset that his teammate forced him in the middle of 3 wide on the first lap?
I think they're both a little bit upset, but Matt Wells did get to lead the first lap for 5 points. Now Chris Jericho moves to the inside. He's going to try and grab it away here on this lap. Luke Rennie falls all the way back to 5th, but it looks like he'll get down in line, maybe behind Tim Gary in front of Eli Bright. Wells can't get down. Here comes Jordan Stout, the number 6. Luke still stuck up top, mostly double foul through the field. Looks like Drew Webb maybe looking middle of 3. Further back on Ryan Wilson as they all come off turn number 4. Jericho gets away in the lead. He'll lead the 2nd lap with Stout to the inside for 2nd place.
And don't count out Tim Gary there. You know, he's hungry to go get himself a win. It's been a little bit, as well as the guy in the 8 car, Eli Bright, looks like he was about to make a move to the inside, but wasn't able to make it stick.
Eli won at a flat 1-mile racetrack last season. It was at New Hampshire. We'll see if he can try and get another one here at Phoenix. He's not been all that great at Phoenix in his career. He's coming off that last place finish at Las Vegas. We'll have to see if he can try and perform well here today. Zidell down in line. He's trying to make a move on Anthony Hernandez to move himself further up inside the top 10. He gets by Matthew Burnett and now looking to try and get by this number 1 of Hernandez. Nathan Baird trying to come back, and here comes Matthew Burnett up towards the front. Wells still dropping. Eli Bright being aggressive with Luke and now Mathis Wells down to the inside for the number 8 car. That's 4th place on Wells, with Evan Hunter trying to move up inside the top 5. All these guys trying to get points because they know Jay Randall a little bit further back in the field could have a tough time coming through.
Yeah, definitely. So they're really trying to get everything they can here, and they only got to be careful because if they try to take too much than what's there to take, they could cause themselves some trouble too. But so far, everyone's kind of keeping it clean here, minding their P's and Q's. Only a couple of really close call. As you can see, Luke Rainey is still dropping back along with that 20, like you mentioned. So looks like you do not want to start on the front row here today.
No, that's normally the best place to be at a track like Phoenix, but here today, not good for either of them, as Wells and Luke Rainey got put 3 wide on lap number 1. Wells probably going to find a way down line 5th place. Luke Rainey's going to fall in line in 7th by Evan Hunter. Great run so far for Laura Chung. She's up inside the top 10 in 8th place. She's had a very miserable season, down 35th in the points. She's just looking for something to go her way in one of these races, and maybe today could be the day she had the track position to start. But this man looks pretty fast. Zaydell in the number 2 car. He's always been good here, but that was with the Hendrick Motorsports car. Now he's with a new team, Penske Jasper Racing. We were wondering maybe would it translate over? Would maybe the team be a little bit different? But so far, Trey, Phoenix is Phoenix for Zaydell. He's moving up through the field and having a very good run. I mean, his finishes here are 10th, 14th, 7th, and 11th. So right now he's pretty much on pace to be right in that range again.
I mean, I think that just goes to show that no matter what car you put this guy in, he's gonna be up in the mix at least for the top 10 wise and going for a good finish here. So I'll be interested to see throughout the race here what he can do, if he can move up forward or if he's gonna stalemate right inside the top 10 there, and we're really what'll come out about that.
How about this man, David Dixon? A good run for him, up to 12th place, just got by Anthony Nez and Matthew Burnett. So this number 39 car, one of the smaller teams in the Nextel Cup Series. Moving right now up inside the top dozen, and just in front of him, Samet Oskin, his first top 20 in 13 starts last race, and his best finish since his win a few seasons ago at Talladega. He's now up in 11th as well, so these are two smaller teams, Trey. Moving up nicely, 11th and 12th for Oskin and David Dixon.
Yeah, the nice thing about, tracks like this is that, how we always mention super speedways are kind of the tracks that are like anyone has a shot to win. Well, that could be the case, but with a track like this, it's really technical, so though you might not have a shot to win if you're in a lower car, you could definitely go for, a good position, like just inside the top 15 or even a top 10 with if you understand the technique on how to race it.
We're seeing that. We Hunter Reed, he's kind of a middle tier team up inside the top 15. Nathan Baird for Bill Davis Racing inside the top 15. Tyler Belladonna's had a rough start to the season. He's trying to move up in this Roush car. His teammate and points leader Jay Randall starting to move through. Keegan Thompson's not been great here over his career. Nearly won this race in 2001, but ran out of fuel from the race lead. Thompson moving up nicely by teammate Matthew Burnett. The RCR cars didn't start well here today, but they're starting to move forward. You can see Kukeline there trying to break his way up inside the top 20. That would be 20th place right there again by Matthew Burnett. And here's a car moving up, Trey. We've mentioned runner-up last season. Lathan Strickland had to start way back in the field in 39th place, but Trey methodically moving up. He's inside the top 25 now.
Yeah, he is trying to get up there, try to catch his teammate first, and then, but I guess both teammates are up there too. We're only missing, where's the other Hendrick guy?
Jerry Chenstar a little bit further back, and looks like he's still back here because he's actually on the outside with Jacob Miller, who failed inspection right now. Jerry Chen back outside of the top 30 and 35th, now 36th as the 15 moves by him. So Jerry Chen's been a rough start to the season, and continuing here at Phoenix as he's trending backwards. See Marcus Lurb making one of his first starts of the season. Angel Gutierrez is here, another BAM car. And Justin Atkins, who has not been fast at all this weekend. Slow in practice, slow in qualifying, and Trey right now slowing the race down in 40th place, battling for 39th with Gutierrez. That's a shock right there for Justin Atkins. Normally a very consistent driver, not been all that consistent this weekend. In fact, consistently bad is what you could say.
Consistently bad definitely would be the answer to that question. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like something with this 3 team really missed the mark this weekend, and they are definitely struggling because of it. We'll have to see throughout the race if maybe they can gain a couple more positions, but I don't think it's going to be a day they're going to want to remember by the end of it.
Yeah, this 3 in the 24. They are going to want to move on from Phoenix very, very quickly. It looks like it's up towards the front, 3 wide through the dog leg. Conrad Evans, Drew Webb, and Matthew Burnett. So Evans puts 200 cars in a difficult position entering into turn 3. Burnett looks like he's going to try and back out of it. That might put him in another 3 wide because Crown Jr. and Sarah Kirchner move to the inside. So Matthew Burnett getting freight trained right now at the bottom lanes, and Burnett can do nothing but just hold the top side and hope that that he doesn't get 3 wide again.
We still got that weird turn 4 exit where it's out, but then it juts in. So it makes these guys kind of funnel into each other there. So 3 wide's always going to be a close call, but so far these guys are keeping it nice and cleaned, and nothing to worry about there. As you can see, the 31 still trying to move his way forward as he's now getting past that 84 there.
Riley Spurlow tubes sideways off turn number 4 as he went to the gas and trying to stay beneath Matthew Burnett. He'll do it into turn number 1, so he's trying to move further forward as once again one of those drivers that failed inspection after qualifying and had to drop to the rear of the field. Another one of those is Jacob Miller. He's making an aggressive move on Matt Tuck and Nathan Ormond. This is around 30th place, and See Miller being aggressive with that 23 and the 41 to his outside. Up the road again, Evans and Drew Webber still side by side. This is for 24th and 25th. A few cars in front of them is Webb's teammate Lathan Strickland, who's moved up nicely from 39th. He's up to 22nd on the back bumper. Hernandez for 21st. Remember, these two kind of started opposite positions on the racetrack. Hernandez started 4th, Strickland started 39th. Here they are. They've met middle of the field trade, 21st and 22nd. That's kind of ironic.
Yeah, that is something right there. We'll have to see how Lathan decides he wants to pass here. Looks like he's trying to peek to the inside. He's going to make a move going into one. Not quite yet. Thought he was about to use the bumper there. He's getting kind of close.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get aggressive there, but he's saving it for now. He knows there's still a decent amount of time left, and pit strategy could really dictate the outcome of this race. Zidell, who had been on the back bumper for Laura Chung, he's dropped back from the number 19 cars. At the front, it stayed the same. Jordan Stout and Chris Jericho, they've been from anywhere from 0.3 to 0.4 of a second apart. It's kind of been ping-ponging back and forth, and Stout's not been able to break that 0.3 barrier, but Jericho's not been able to break the 0.4 barrier either. They've all kind of stayed right there, and these top four stayed within about 3/4 of a second of each other as they enter into turns 3 and 4. It's still a close one, and once tires start to wear out here, it's not going to be as much tire wear as we've seen in other places, about a second over a full fuel run, but that tire wear could definitely play an impact if someone does use their stuff up a little bit too much.
Yeah, this is, these guys might be at the point where they're trying to just pace themselves, trying to get to that pit stops or whatever, seeing what their car can do on the long run. And like you mentioned, they've kind of just settled out where they're at right now. We got a little race going on here. Luke Rainey and Evan Hunter are going to go side by sides into 3 and 4 here. Looks like Luke might be on the line. You want to be on. We'll have to see if he can get that run off. But with that little extra room, it might just help Evans on top there. And they're still side by side.
Yes, they are as they come across the start finish line. Luke Rainey had the 6th position at the line. He'll have the 6th position off turn number 2. Luke Rainey moves up another spot. Hunter trying to fight back on the top side. Looks like he'll get back in line in the dogleg. So move the 88 up to 6th, the 36 down to 7th. Laura Chung in 8th starts to close in on these two as they battled side by side for about a lap or two. And everyone gets in line and gets it sorted out back up towards the front. Gary under fire maybe a little bit from Eli Bright in the number 8 car. Eli's over the back. They're about a 1/10 and a half apart. Gary in 3rd, Bright in 4th. And Trey, Tim Gary this season, he's not been explosive. He's not been, all that showy. But how about this? His worst finish this season is 18th place. He's not finished outside the top 20 this season. He's 8th in the point standings, and we know why, because he just keeps finishing. It's nothing amazing, but he's finishing, 8th to 18th. It's very consistent. It's gotten the points he's needed to be up there inside the top 10 in the point standings so far.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season like this, all you really want to be is just consistently up near the front. And so far, like you mentioned, he's been doing that, and he's being rewarded with it. So, if this team here finds their stride even halfway through the season, they could be a force to be reckoned with come season's end and racing for this championship just by being, like you mentioned, very, very consistent.
I want to give an update on some of the big names that are towards the back of the field and have not been able to move forward. Jerry Chen still stuck down in 38th. Atkins has moved a little bit in 36th. Ryan Wilson, who's down 34th in points, and with a very dismal average finish this season, it's not been great. 28 is his average finish, and 34th in points, as mentioned. He's not been able to finish better than 28th over the last 3 races. He's not finished inside the top 15 this season. Wilson down in 35th and struggling. One of his teammates, Eli Bright, up inside the top 5 and looking for a pass on Tim Gary for 3rd. See Jacob Miller still down there. He's been stuck down there since failing inspection. And Mitchell Collins down outside the top 30. Matthew Burnett started inside the top 10. He's down 31st. And the RCR cars have not had a great day. They didn't start all that well. Evans is 29th. Kirchner's 28th. Their highest car is Kukulon, who's up in 19th. So RCR is struggling here at the Phoenix International Raceway as we're nearing the midway point. Jericho's led all but the first lap from that 3rd starting spot. Stout trying to close in, but once again just kind of finding that ping pong. Got to 0.3 back. It's back up to 0.4 back. Gary and Eli Bright have stayed consistently about 6, 7, 8 back, and then you have a 2.5 back Matt Wells. Then Luke Rennie's trying to get away from Evan Hunter, who might have his hands full a little bit with Laura Chung here. That's 7th and 8th, Trey.
Yeah, so really, I would say come pit stops, anyone in the top 4 can really make a switch up here, but everyone else, 5th on back, is really kind of in a race of their own if you think about it, right? Because with the tire wear and all this stuff, we really see who has the long run cars, and there's not that many changes. So a lot of these drivers are really kind of running the same race here, but still, we're looking at right now this 2. He has not changed position at all this race.
Yeah, Justin Seidel got those spots in the start and has stayed in 9th place the whole way through. He does have his hands full right here with Zachary DeLello. The 16 has come alive here and starting to really dog this number 2 car. Look for that 9th spot. DeLello once again 3rd in the point standings. Really wants to, finish higher up than Jay Randall here today, as Randall's dominated the season and currently leading the points right now. Our points leader is down 17th place. Not good, but not bad. Jay Randall just kind of very consistent here. And I guess if your bad day is going to be 17th place, that's a championship type season right there.
Yeah, definitely. And right now he's not in, I would say, conservation mode. He's just in get a decent finish mode. You know what I mean? Kind of protect the lead, but not really, fight for it at this moment. So we'll have to see how they can go about it. As we're looking here again at Lathan Strickland, who is at the back of this pack of 3 cars here, led by his teammate Keegan Thompson. We'll have to see if he can continue to move up front here, or if he's going to kind of wait stuff out to see what happens during the cycle.
He's up to 21st right now, and just in front of him is cars that are up near the top 15. He got loose there off the corner. Maybe he saw an opening, tried to make the pass on the number 40 car, but just couldn't get back into the gas enough, and Benny Lynn's going to keep that spot right here. This could be an opportunity as the 40 drifts wide. Here comes Strickland looking low into the dogleg. The 40 gets down, though, so Strickland once again is going to have to try another lap to try and get by this number 40 car. And I mean, it's got to be so frustrating, Trey, being a driver here at Phoenix. It's such a tough place to make a pass work, and he stayed behind a guy for lap after lap after lap, and it just seems like they never make a mistake. They never give you the opportunity to make that pass.
Yeah, I mean, you could see Lathan he's going to go up here a little bit, was probably trying to get a run off there to let the car kind of, speed up on corner exit, but couldn't really get that done here. We'll have to see what he does into 3 and 4 here. Last time, he almost went up like half a lane higher than the 40, but this time he's going to kind of stay lower than the 40. We'll have to see if he can generate a run this way. I mean, you can just see him trying to work the lines here, find some sort of grip this late into the run and get past his 40, but it does not seem like the car wants to respond the way he's hoping it does.
We're nearing pit stops, about 5 laps away from when the window's going to open. We've crossed midway as we are 31 and a half laps down of the 63-lap race. Jericho's at all but 1 from that 3rd starting spot. Jordan Stout has been 2nd pretty much the whole race. He's just trying to stay close enough. If a mistake comes on pit road for the 18 crew, maybe this number 6 car could pounce and get to the lead himself. Tim Gary, Eli Bright just kind of hanging tough 3rd and 4th. Waiting for something to maybe happen in front. And then the battle for 5th is on. Matthews Wells and Luke Rennie going at it again on the racetrack into turns 3 and 4. And it looks like once again, Luke might have the better of Matthews Wells. They race side by side for that top 5 spot off turn number 4. With now 30 laps to go, Luke Rennie has 5th place at the line.
We'll have to see if he can dive it in here on turns 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to, but 20 is going to hold strong, but not strong enough. Now, the real question is the door open for Evan Hunter to try to make a move on Wells? Wells is going to shut the door on him this time, but doesn't mean this 36 can't try to dive it in. He's going to decide to concede.
Yeah, the 20 goes a little bit wide, maybe got in the wake of the 88, but I think the tires are so worn for the guys behind, they couldn't really take advantage of it. As we're nearing pit stops, the pit window's basically open now. We've completed 34 of the 63 laps. They can come down now and make it on fuel the rest of the way. The question is, who's going to be the first to budge? Who's going to come down pit road? And who's maybe going to stay out there and try and catch a yellow flag? If a yellow comes out during the middle of pit stops, you can trap guys a lap down because of how short this racetrack is.
Yeah, it's going to be a interesting scenario here so far. I mean, it kind of looks like no one really wants to jump the gun quickly here. They kind of all have a number in their mind, and it might be, where they feel comfortable making it to the end in case something, if we have some sort of weird scenario going at the end of this race. But who is going to be the first out of these 4 is my question to come down pit road.
Yeah, these are the important ones because the rest of the field is 2 seconds back. Sure, if they pit a lap sooner, they could gain maybe a second of that gap, but it won't get them to the lead unless something really, unless there's congestion on pit road and it really clogs these leaders up. But right now, the front 4 are committed to each other, just kind of staying out there. So far, no one is making the move onto that pit road. Everyone's staying out. I think everyone's too scared to be the first one.
That's always a fair thing, but once one person comes out, everyone else is going to see that, and they're going to go, all right, well, you know what time it is, and they're all going to come down too. So far, though, like you mentioned, no one is taking the bait.
And no one's biting the bullet. Everyone is staying out there on the racetrack for now. No one wants to come down. Everyone's saying, listen, we can't come down too soon. If a yellow comes out, we get trapped a lap or 2 down, and especially these guys further back. You see right there were some big moves being made, but no one is coming down. We'll have to see this next lap. Will this be the lap where people may want to come down the pit lane. Jericho still looks like in a line where he's going to be staying out. Tim Gary and Eli Bright, who are at the back of this line, Trey. I love that strategy call for those two.
Yeah, 100%. They were far enough back, you know, to get that split second to decide if they were going to go down with the leaders or not. The leaders decided to stay out, and these two are going to be the first ones down pit road, along with, I believe that was Wells behind him. We'll have to see if he can hit his pit stall this time, but let's see how good of a stop this 10 and 8 have.
And really, those are some of the few. Tyler Belladonna on pit road, but there's not been many. You can see the 15 and, Matt.
Oh, no, he has struggles again.
Oh my gosh, the 10, the 8, the 17, 15, 33, and 50 are in the 29. Here come the rest of the field. We have one staying out. Benny Lynn's going to stay out, try and lead the next lap. As the leaders have come down, Jericho and Stout do have to be careful. As you mentioned, it's a tight pit road here. It's not necessarily made for stock car racing. It's more like an open wheel track.
So far, I haven't seen any contact being made on pit road here. The last couple of guys are getting in their stall. Everyone's leaving, getting in. The pit crews are all going to work here. You can see everyone leaving their stall. Who's that just came in? That's the one there. The 25 also just came in. So, who's going to jump off, and what's the lead going to look like with that?
There's Tim Gary and Eli Bright at speed in turns 1 and 2. Jericho and Stout gets a shortcut turn 2, but Gary's up to speed. Jericho and Stout are just building speed as they enter into the dog leg. This is going to be close for the lead. Gary with the run. Dives to the outside of Stout. Can he get to the inside? Jericho now in turns 3 and 4. Gary moves up to second. Does he have the tires up to attempt to make a pass in this number 18 car?
We'll have to see. Looks like he's looking. Look at him dive to the inside there. He's peeking. I don't know if he's going to get there, Joe. He still can't get there.
Jericho holds the lead for now. Benny Lynn led that lap on pit road. Gary is all over the back of Chris Jericho. You can see some cars got into the grass. They're trying to shortcut so much. Jericho holds the lead for now. Gary, though, is right there to pounce if something goes wrong with the 18 car with 23 laps to go. Gary, this is going to be a guy who's going to be aggressive with Jericho. Jericho's got to be careful here.
Yo, 100%. Look, Gary's looking again, but I don't think he has the run. Actually, he might have the run this time, Joe.
Down to the inside for the lead. Tim Gary on Chris Jericho. Into turns 1 and 2. They go side by side for the lead. Further back, 3.5 seconds back. Hunter's to 5th as the rest of the field comes across the line. Gary and Jericho side by side. This brings Stout and Eli Bright right back into it. And Tim Gary, pitting a lap sooner, is going to move to the front of the field in the Checker Auto Parts 500. He clears Chris Jericho to the lead.
Stout had a bad corner exit there that opened up the gap for Jericho to get back into second there. So we'll have to see if Jericho can mount some sort of move back on Tim Gary or if he's going to really ride behind him right there. You can see the 6 and the 8 are trying to find, you know, where their grip's at to get past this 18 as we're coming up on a lap car here. So this will be interesting to see because, Joe, we have no wrecked cars. All cars are pretty much spotless, so this car is not going to be too terribly slow. So how is that going to affect this lead?
I think that's Angel Gutierrez in the number 70, but I want to give a shout out to the guys that broke inside the top 10 with their pit strategy. Tyler Belladonna, Sebastian Kukulan, and Lathan Strickland all pitted sooner on the lap of Tim Gary and Eli Bright. They're up to 8th for Belladonna, 9th for Kukulan, and Lathan Strickland started 3rd. 9th is up to 10th place in that number 48. Zidell's down to 11th. Benny Lynn, who stayed out later, Trey, is up to 12th. So really, the strategy call wasn't to come down and get the tires sooner. It was just to get on a clean pit road.
Yeah, that's not very often you see that really come to work because normally, you know, if you go longer than everyone else, I mean, at most places the tire wear and the time difference is just so much that you can't really handle that. But here, it seems like it worked out pretty well.
Yes, it did, and David Dixon still hanging tough inside the top 15, so is Sebed Oskin. That's great days if they can hang on for those two underfunded cars, some of those lower tier cars that are having really good runs. The Petty Enterprise cars have found each other. Hunter Reed 16th, Crown Jr. 17th. That's big for Crown Jr. Started last in this race. Looks like he's going to have a points penalty coming his way, and he's up inside the top 20 as they stand. Hunter Reed just moved up inside the top 15, getting by Sebed Oskin. Sarah Kirchner inside the top 20. Riley Spiritu field inspection. He's inside the top 20. Hernandez has dropped down. See Drew Martinelli having a solid day. Same with Drew Webb. Nathan Baird dropped a little bit, but still top 25. And Jay Renner, our point leader, dropped to 26th. Not great for him, considering some guys up there in points are up towards the front. You see Jericho looking on Gary, trying to come back in this number 10 car. You got a little loose through the dog leg, Trey.
Yeah, that's a weird place to get loose there, considering it's majority flat, but he still made it work there. Maybe a little help from the 6 of Stout. So we'll have to see. Jericho's on the inside. He's going to dive it into 1 and 2 here. He's got to be careful not to use up his stuff too much trying to race for this lead because it could come back to bite him here, but he might get it done. Is Stout going to take advantage of this as well?
I was going to say, the one person who might be happy that they're battling in front is Eli Bright. He's kind of just hanging back, Trey. He's saying, you know what, you guys go up there, you wear your stuff out, I'll just sit back here and save, get the spots when I can.
Send it on the outside.
Gary trying to keep that second spot, but it actually might hurt him. He might lose third here to Eli Bright. Oh, he gets down, it looks like, just in front of the number 8.
Did you see? It looked like Tim, pretty much hit the full throttle and straightened the wheel out there halfway through 3 and 4, and almost was going straight on into that outside wall, but he put it back down and got his gap back into 3rd place there now. We're pretty much back in the same order that we were before pit stops.
Yep.
What's going to happen this time around, though?
Well, what's going to happen is we're going to catch lap traffic, right? And we know how hard it is to pass cars here. Obviously, the 70 is a little bit slower. However, he's not, as you mentioned, damaged. He's not very, very slow to where it's going to be easy to pass. So if the 18 doesn't catch him in the right place, it gets caught a little bit, Jordan Stout, Tim Gary, they could pounce back and they could be right there on him.
Yeah, and if you lose multiple spots, especially in this small of a pack with how much speed they have, it's not where you want to be. The only one that I can really see benefiting from this greatly is going to be that 8, because it looks like he's starting to fall off a little bit here, Joe. That's not what he wants to see, so maybe when we catch this lap traffic here, it's going to reel them back in, and he might be able to get a spot or two from this, but right now, looks like Eli might be fading.
Yeah, with 13 laps to go, that number 8 car just doesn't look as good on this run as it was the first run. Obviously, the first run, he's just able to hang on with those other guys, and right now it looks like he's kind of fading back and really needs them to battle to slow each other down for him to have a shot to stay with these leaders. Further back into the top 10, Matheus Wells moved to 5th by Evan Hunter, so he got that spot back. Luke Rainey trying to get back up in 7th. In fact, those 3 cars right together, Wells, Hunter, and Luke Rainey. This is big for Evan Hunter and some of those guys that are up there in points, because 2 of the top 3 in points are not running all that well here today. Jay Reynolds down to 24th, and Zach DeLello, who was 10th when he came down pit road, is stuck back in 36th place. So it's not been a good day for 2 of the top 3 in the point standings, both from Roush. And here's, Evan Hunter trying to take advantage, Chris Jericho, and some of these other guys. They're up towards the front points trying to close in. But speaking of closing in, they're catching Angel Gutierrez, Trey, the lap car, the number 70 from BAM Racing. And Jordan Stout's all over Chris Jericho, coming around to 10 laps to go. So if the 18 does not, if he has to slow up just a little bit, Stout can easily pass this number 18 car and set sail and leave him back.
I mean, look how long it's taking us to catch the 70, right? So that's just going to show you how hard it is going to be to get past him. We're at, 10 laps now trying to get up to the back of the 70, let alone try to get past him. So we'll have to see what happens here. It might be in this set of corners was where we're finally going to get to the back of him. But, Joe, what a bad place to do it at.
Yeah, that's dirty air for the 18, which, everyone else has dirty air behind him, but the 18 still now in dirty air, which he hasn't had much of here this race. Jericho wants to desperately get by this number 70 of Angel Gutierrez. I think about, when some of these guys have been lap cars, they've let Jericho go, and they haven't really contested them. They've been nice lap cars. We'll have to see if Gutierrez is the same. Jericho's a run on him into turn 3. Does he make the move? He's looks
looking.
Out. Gutierrez blocked.
Oh, no. Oh, but
Gary.
Oh, Tim, Gary sent it in there.
And Jericho loose off the quarter. Stout closes back in. Can Jericho make the move this time in turn 1? Looks like Gutierrez gives him the space, but just barely.
Yeah, now he's going to see how it's going to affect this 18's exit. As you can see, the 6 able to get up as high as he wants to there. The 6 might have a small run, but they're still side by side, so he can't really make a move. Yeah,
nowhere to go unless you wanted to try and force it 3 wide. Jericho might finally clear Angel Gutierrez, and now the test for Stout, he has to clear the 70 quickly, but I think he's going to do it a lot faster there. He's easily going to get by the 70 car.
See, that's the thing about being the leader, right? The lap cars are really going to battle you because they want to stay on the lead lap, but once you get passed by the leader, there's really no point in fighting anyone else.
Yep, and you can see right there, he laid over for Stout.
Oh, no, but
Gary really had a rough time there. He really fell back, and I think it's because he caught him exit of turn 2. He had to kind of slow his exit down, hurt his straightaway, and now he's going to have to get it a whole lap later. So for Gary, he kind of falls off the front 2. Not that great for the number 10 car with catching. But Trey, we're coming to 5 to go at the line, so this race has come down to the wire. It's come down between the only 2 Phoenix winners in the JRTV era. Chris Jericho and Jordan Stout are going at it. Jericho, a 3-time winner here. Stout, the dominator here in 2002. They run 1st and 2nd with now 5 laps to go here in the Checker Auto Parts 500 at Phoenix.
I mean, at this point, I don't know if Gary and Eli are going to have enough to catch back up to this front 2, so they might be in a battle of their own. But right now, Joe, the 6 is not coming off of this 18's rear bumper. Last time around, they were about 2/10 just under 2/10 apart. We'll have to see if they're any closer this time. And Joe, I don't know about you, but this 6 seems to be getting closer.
He is, he's turned it up now. He is right there. He's on the back bumper. He is a 10th back with 4 laps to go. Jordan Stout trying to get back to victory lane here at Phoenix, and Chris Jericho trying to hold on. The pressure is on for the 18, though. Stout is right there, the closest he's been all day long. Can he look for a pass at some point in these final 4 laps? Trey, this could be one heck of a battle all the way to the checkered flag. 3 laps to go at the line.
It makes you wonder if that the 2 lap right there of battling with Tim Gary right after the pit cycles for Jericho might have used up his stuff here, but you saw right there that 6 kind of got a little loose on quarter exit, so we'll have to see what happens here. He's looking low. He lost a little bit of ground because of that, though, so he's got not too many laps to make that back up and try to make a move.
2 laps to go at the line. Jordan Stout is right there. This is kind of coming down to how it was last season, except Stout's a lot closer than Lathan Strickland was last season. They come off turn number 4. Chris Jericho sees 2 laps to go here at Phoenix. 2 miles left. Jordan Stout a 10th and a half back, waiting if the 18 makes one little bobble, makes one little mistake. Jericho, if he goes up the track, and Stout can try and move to the inside. But that one corner that you mentioned, turns 1 and 2, where Stout lost the ground, that might have been all she wrote for that number 6 car.
Yeah, because, I mean, it took him a handful of laps just to get to that rear bumper, and that one small bobble there really hurt him here as we're coming to the white flag, Joe. This is going to be the last chance for Stout to do anything here in the 1 and 2. Is he going to have it?
1 mile to go for Chris Jericho here at Phoenix. Jordan Stout has kept him at bay all day long, but has not been able to get by him. Up the dog leg and into turns 3 and 4 for the final time, the flatter end of the racetrack. Through 3 and 4, Chris Jericho, winner in 2000, winner in 2001, winner in 2003, and a winner in 2004. Jericho wins the Trekker Auto Parts 500 here at Phoenix. Well, Trey, when it comes to this racetrack, you can never bet against this guy.
What a battle that was right there between 2 guys who know how to win at this track, but one just knows how to win a little bit more.
Yes, he does. Chris Jericho, for the 4th time in 5 seasons, has won here at the Phoenix International Raceway. And I mean, I think you had to see this coming when you saw Jericho starting in 3rd, Stout starting in 5th place, that these 2 were going to be the toughest ones to beat here today, and they showed down on the racetrack. They were 1-2 for most of the day.
I mean, you mentioned it with our picks. They were low-hanging fruits.
Yep.
There's a reason why everyone picks low-hanging fruits, because there's a good chance you're going to get them.
Yep, and we got them here today, Trey. We got 1st and 2nd with our picks. I mean, we're used to seeing guys finish like 42nd with our picks.
Yeah. So at least we're not bad luck anymore, as Wells is still struggling to get into his pit box.
Yeah, that's strange, right? You'd think that would be the easiest box to get into, but for some reason, it's the hardest.
He is, I don't think he wants to win pole here anymore, and that's a weird sentence to say.
No, I mean, we've seen people win pole here and go on to, win races, and it just hasn't been Matheus Wells' style here at Phoenix. But the style for Chris Jericho is win, win, win when he comes to Phoenix. His 5 finishes here now, 1st, 8th, 1st, and 1st. Jericho gets a 4th win here at Phoenix. His average finish gets even better here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Jordan Stout ends up in 2nd place. He has that win here in 2002, but his other finishes here have been great. They've been 22nd, 30th, and 14th. So he gets to add a 2nd place finish to his resume here at Phoenix. Tim Gary led some laps. He tried the undercut. Worked out well for a little bit, but the 10 just wasn't as strong as those front 2. But Gary, a very solid 3rd place, and should moving up very, very nicely in points. Eli Bright, a very solid day to recover after his bad Las Vegas race in 4th. Top 5 for the pole sitter, Matheus Wells. Got to lead that 1st lap, but when he got put 3 wide by teammate Chris Jericho, never really could recover from that. Evan Hunter ends up in 6th here today. Luke running right behind him in 7th. Great run for Tyler Belladonna, his first top 10 of the season, 8th place. Sebastian Kukulon ends up in 9th. That was a great run through the field. And top 10 for Justin Zeidel, who's been very, very consistent here at Phoenix and continues with that great average finish here. Lathan Strickland from the back of the field started back in 39th. He gets 11th. Benny Lynn on the alternate strategy, staying out longer, got a lap led, got 5 points, then even gained spots doing that. Ends up in 12th here today. Keyshawn Richardson very solid in 13th. Keegan Thompson, about where you expect for Phoenix standards for number 5. He ends up in 14th, and Hunter Reed top 15th. So, but Oskin top 20 day. Crown Jr. from the back. He started last, so great run for him. Sarah Kirchner. See Brian Spurgeon had to start further back in 40th, and Hernandez started 4th, fell back, but got some spots back there in that last run. You see Jude Martinelli and Ryan Wilson. That's about as solid of a day he's had this season. Jay Reno, the points leader, down 24th. Atkins really gained a lot in that second half of the race. He gets 26th. See Matthew Burnett, who kind of struggled here. Conrad Evans and the number 19, Laura Chung, inside the top 10 for most of the day, but ends up 29th. David Dixon inside the top 20 for most of the day. Faded on the last run, 31st, and just edged Matt Tuck at the line. Jacob Miller down here. Nathan Baird was inside the top 15 for a lot of the day. Zachary DeLello, who had a top 10 day going, but Pit Road did him in 36. Jerry Chen, once again, another day where that 24 car just didn't have it. 37th, you see Marcus Lerb, Colin Teague, Nathan Orman, and Pri McShane had an issue. She came down the pit lane, fell a lap down, and Angel Gutierrez fell a lap down on the racetrack in car number 70 as well. And now after that, we take a look at the points. 7 races in, and bad points days for our points leader Rando, and third in points Zachary DeLello, and good points days for guys like Jericho and Tim Gary and Evan Hunter and Luke Rainey and Mathis Wells. And all of a sudden, Trey, we're back to a great fight for the championship after 7 races.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows you what a string of 1 or 2 bad races will do for this championship, especially early in the season. And it'll be interesting to see if that 97 can really bounce back, or if someone's going to take advantage of the couple of faults here and take over the lead.
Well, next race out here on JRTV, we're going to a very similar racetrack as Phoenix. We're going to the Martinsville Speedway, the shortest track on the schedule for the Advanced Auto Parts 500. We're going to see some classic short track racing. If anyone made anyone mad here this weekend, Trey, they better watch out next weekend, because Martinsville is a good place to get someone back.
Think there was any tempers, but there was a lot going on the track, so we could have missed something.
Yeah, I mean, someone could have just cut someone off and did someone dirty, and they might get them back next week. We'll have to see. Martinsville is always a crazy one when we come here with the Nextel Cup Series, and we'll have to see how it goes next week on JRTV. But today it's all about Chris Jericho with his 4th win here at Phoenix in just 5 starts. Congratulations to the 18 team and getting Joe Gibbs Racing their first victory of the 2004 season. For Trey Bardo and Joe Rakowski, so long from the Checker Auto Parts 500 here at Phoenix.